gotten a lot of requests the last couple of years for some Christian Lee Hutson, but he's a extremely good guitar player. Like, I had to practice a lot to be able to play that well, and that was not that good, but I did get through it. Obviously, there's a lot of like intricate stuff with the right hand with the fingers that I'm not necessarily even getting. But the thing I always say with like finger picking stuff is like, you know, get something that works for you, and that's cool because everybody has like a different style. Anyway, all that being said, here was my attempt, and I think it is pretty right the way that he plays it. So the tuning is, it's in open G with a capo at the 2nd fret. So I would recommend that you actually put the capo on and then tune with the capo on. That's generally a good idea. So with the capo on, the low E string will be an E, which means, you know, you have to tune it down if you're coming from standard tuning, right? So this will be an E, this will be an A, this will be an E, this will be an A, this will be a C sharp, and this will be an E. Now with the capo off, that means D, G, D, G, B, D. But again, I would tune with the capo on because you'll just be more in tune that way because of the intonation of the neck. All right, I'll write that down in the description. And I will also have a full tab that I will write out and make available on my Patreon. And there will be a link in the description. And thank you for your support. Okay, let's work on the song. General thing with the right hand technique, I don't know, I think he might have nails. You know, if you have nails, you can kind of use them too, or you could just use your fingers. There's kind of like a general thing that can work for this song is, I mean, you could do just your thumb, you know, and just a pretty regular strum, you know what I mean? Just kind of strumming up and down like that. Or you can do, what I was doing was mostly thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index. So sort of my thumb going down and then my index coming up, you know. But you can see that something that he does is he kind of goes between this more strummy style and more picking. So it's kind of like, you know, no matter, so in other words, sometimes you're strumming, jun, 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 and sometimes it's more like, you know, more picking. Again, you'll have to sort of find your way around it. And then sometimes it's definitely picking, you know, these sort of moments when you're doing this kind of stuff. And now I'm just picking. And we'll get to that in the song. But so that's just like a general note about how to approach the right hand. Depending where you're at with that kind of style, you can sort of mostly strum, you can strum with some picking. It's all, he just uses in this song, I believe, just his thumb and index finger. But for strumming in, well, there might be some of the rest of the fingers, but the picking parts are all thumb and index, you know? All that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. I will go over picking things as we come to them. All right, so the first little intro part that comes back is these 2 chords. The first one is, your first finger is on the 5th fret of the high string, the 1st string, the 5th fret in relation to the capo, which is the 7th fret, not in relation to the capo. Here on the 1st string, and your pinky on the 8th fret in relation to the capo, or the 10th fret, not in relation to the 2nd string. And then you can strum everything. One thing I should have noted, this song is in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really affect your life that much, but it is in 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And now this goofy chord. So these are both kind of reachers. They might make your might make your hands sore. This song in general might make your hands sore. Okay, so take it slow. So you have this chord. Now, what I'm going to do to get into the second chord, my first finger is going to pick up and become a bar of the 5th fret, a bar of the top 3 strings, of the 3rd string, the 2nd string, and the 1st string. My pinky's going to stay there, and my 3rd finger is going to come down onto the 7th fret of the 4th string, the string formerly known as the D string. Actually, still the D string. Okay, so you're going to do. So you got that second chord shape is first finger barring the 5th fret of the G, the B, and the E, or the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. The pinky is still on the 8th fret of the B string, of the 2nd string, and then your 3rd finger comes and gets the 7th fret of the D string or the 4th string. And it's going to go in between those 2 chords 4 times, with each one getting a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That happens 4 times. Okay? That's that part. And that part recurs, it's at the beginning, it's at the end, it's after each of the choruses. All right, so the verse. There's 3 verses. The 2nd and 3rd verses are exactly the same, and the 1st verse doesn't have something that the 2nd and 3rd verse have. So I'll show you all that. Okay, so the first chord is just open. Don't really play that string. I was kind of, as I did these chords, kind of muting the 6th string with my pinky. Sorry, this is called a thumb, not a pinky. By my thumb just kind of reaching around and just touching that 6th string. You can also just kind of avoid it. It's also not the end of the world if you play it, but you can maybe hear the difference between this and this. This is muddy. Okay, so it's this chord for a bar. 1, 2, 3, and then this chord. So this is like some form of A minor. First finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. A little subtle thing about the way that he changes the chords in the verse, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1. It's like he kind of hammers on or slides into each chord on beat 1. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You see how it's like on beat 1, I'm like going into it. I would say that's like kind of optional. Like if that's hard, just go on beat 1. Just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just don't drive yourself crazy trying to get that if you're just trying to play the song. But yeah, if you want to, that is sort of what he does. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay. So it goes from this all open to this chord, first finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. And then you just take this shape and move it up 2 frets. So now the 1st finger's on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the 2nd finger's on the 4th fret of the 5th string. Now you slide up to this. So your 2nd finger just has to slide 1 more fret up to the 5th fret of the 5th string. And now pick up your 1st finger and have your 3rd finger take over on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And then this moves up, this shape moves up 2 more frets to the 7th fret. So, and those are all for 3 beats or 1 bar each. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He, for the most part, in this hand and this whole part is just kind of keeping this. He does pick a little bit though. It's kind of like. I didn't dig in so deep to like exactly what he's doing, so I'm kind of like, doing a version of it, but it's some combination of this down up down strumming and some, so you can mess around with that. Okay, when it gets here, again, if you want to just do it like this, so you go through all these. Now, the next important chord is this. But he does pass through this. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you have this. So I guess what I'm saying is this chord I would consider kind of optional. So if you want to just go from here to this, But if you want to do this little passing chord, this whole song is very Blackbird by the Beatles. That part sounds very Blackbird. Okay, so you have here, now it's first finger on the 8th fret of the 5th string and third finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. And that's one beat. It's like 1, 2, 3, and that brings you 1, 2, 3. First finger on the 8th fret of the 5th string, third finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, just one time. And I'm kind of pinching that one, so my thumb and index are happening at the same time. My thumb is playing the A string, my index is sort of swiping back the B and the G, the second and the third. And then to this chord, which is the same shape as those first two, the second and third chords you did. It's this one. So now my first finger's on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, my second finger is on the 9th fret of the 5th string. And that's for 1 bar, for 3 beats. Now you have, okay, makes sense? Now you have this little line. Going up to. So the little line is on the B string, on the 2nd string, 8, 7, 5, and then open first string. Asked if I had any pot, we're going up to, right? Now he keeps this hand moving while doing that, so it becomes like I don't know. There's some motion. There's some stuff going on with the thumb while he plays that. It's quite pretty. I'm just kind of faking it, you know. But you just get that line in there, however you can. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sort of getting through it. So there's that little line, and then it brings you to this. He fingers this chord this way, I think. First finger on the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th string, second finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Okay, so that takes you back into the beginning of the verse, like 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So then you're repeating yourself. In the first verse, it's now going to repeat that exactly the same. And then it does it a third time, and the third time it ends differently. It goes, tell your folks you ran away. So this is first finger barring the 5th fret of the important strings to get are the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string. The A, the D, the G, and the B. And then when you start, you have your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the B. Get the 5th and the 2nd together, so 5th with the thumb and 2nd with the index, and then go index, thumb, index, thumb, index, when, that's 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, when away, and then the 3rd finger picks up, play the A and the B together again. Sense? Okay. I am going to come back to what happens next because I'm going to show you now the thing that happens in verse 2 and verse 3, which is that in verse 2 and verse 3, so all the verses are 3 times basically of the progression, right? And verse 1, as I just said, it just repeats, it does this twice and then does this. But in verses 2 and 3, it does this thing. So it's like, this would be the second time in the second verse. Make sense? Okay. Second finger, well, first finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string of the D string, second finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, the A string, right? And now you're going to pick, thumb plays the A string, the 5th string, then index plays the open 3rd string, the G string, then thumb plays the 4th string, the D string, then index plays the G again. Now pinky comes down, plays the 7th fret on the D string, and then index plays the open again. Wait, sorry. And then the last thing is the index playing the open B string, the open 2nd string. So I'll go through all that again. You start with your fingers in this formation over here. So your first finger on the 4th fret of the D string, your second finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Now you're gonna pluck the A string with your thumb. Then you're gonna pluck the open G string, the open 3rd string with your index. Then you're gonna pluck the D string, the 4th finger with your thumb. Then you're gonna pluck the open G again with your index. Then you're gonna bring your pinky down to the 7th fret on the D string and pluck it with your thumb, and then your index is gonna play the open B. And that's gonna happen 4 times. The tricky thing to make it sound right too is you really want everything to be very ring out, you know? So try to get everything to these fingers out of each other's way, keep from accidentally muting things. Okay, so that's in the 2nd verse and the 3rd verse, but not in the 1st verse. Okay, let's do the chorus. I'm going to consider this part of the chorus. Besides, you're a Northsider now. Okay, so you're in this, tell your folks you ran away. Now, besides, 2nd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B string, the 2nd string, play that's together. I'm doing this kind of way, this like, sometimes call that pinching. It's like my thumb is playing the A string down like that, the 5th string, and my index is kind of swiping back on the B and the G. Besides, and just play that once. Now down to here, these are all chords we did before in the verse, right? So now your first finger's on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and your 2nd finger's on the 4th fret of the 5th string. Besides your, and then you just move that down 2 more frets. Besides your, now north. Now the first finger becomes a bar of the 1st fret, the middle 3 strings basically, but you're just gonna pluck the D and the B, the 4th string and the 2nd string. The 4th string with your pinky and the 2nd string with your index. North, and then you slide this up to the 4th fret. And when you go up to here, now you pick, the index finger picks the 4th string and the thumb picks the 4th string and the index finger picks this 3rd string. North side, right? So here I'm plucking the D and the G, the D and the B, the 4th and the 2nd. And here I'm plucking the D and the G, the 4th and the 3rd. He might play like something slightly more complicated with the thumb, but I didn't do that. Because it could be that, but anyway. And now the pinky comes in and plays the 7th fret of the D. Northsider. My thumb picked that. Northsider now. So now he definitely uses his thumb now. If you really can't use your thumb, you don't have to. This is a crazy stretchy chord. He uses his thumb. I don't find that easy, but I can do it. Okay, so besides you're a Northsider now. My thumb is playing the 2nd fret on the 6th string, the E string. My index plays the open G when I get there. Northsider now. Now, pinky, this is a crazy chord. Pinky playing the 5th fret on the high E string, while the thumb plays the 2nd fret on the low E string. Okay, if you cannot make that, you can try it with this. I find that easier. If you can't make this, just don't do the high E string, just do it like this. Because the next three chords are just, you're holding this the whole time, and you start with the 2nd fret of the low E, 2, 3, then it goes to the 1st fret on the low E, but nothing else changes. Then it's just open, low E. So that's kind of nice. But again, you can do it like this. Picking wise, it becomes a little bit of like a picked thing, slightly more picked than strummed, but you could also strum it. Nothing's going. I kind of hear this happening on like, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, on the and of 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Okay, hope those couple of chords make sense. Nothing's. So again, yeah, I'm just kind of keeping this moving, trying to get some of those notes, and then you move to this chord, which is first finger on the 5th fret of the high E string, second finger on the 6th fret of the A string. So it's like nothing's going to. Right? And now change. This is just like before, just like when we did sides you're up, but now it's this. So 5th fret on the A, 5th fret on the B, pinch it, move it down to this shape again. Sides your, first finger on the 3rd fret of the B, second finger on the 4th fret of the A. But now sides your, oh yeah, now this is, sorry, I said going to change. So it's 5th fret thing, 3rd fret and 4th fret. Now 2nd fret and 3rd fret. Change. And now, again, this is another place where you hear a little slide. Change that. And now this is barring the 5th fret on all the strings, and then pinky plays the 8th fret on the B string on the 2nd string, and you strum it kind of hard. Change it now, right? And then you're back to this. Woo! Okay, so that's the chorus. So that's the whole verse and chorus, which means there's one more thing, which is the guitar solo, which is obviously hard. Yeah, hard, but we can do it. Or you could not do it if you want. It's just a guitar solo. Okay, so after the second chorus, it's going to change it now. So this time it's doing this, and it's going to interrupt it the 4th time. 2nd time, 3rd time, and now 4th time. Now I'm barring the 4th fret of everything, and then you go. So I'm barring this. Now my 2nd finger plays the 5th fret on the D string, and then my pinky comes in and plays the 7th fret on the D string, and then slides the 9th fret. Right? Bar the 4, 2nd finger on the 5th fret of the D string, pinky on the 7th fret of the D string, slide up to 9, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Then 2nd finger plays the 9th fret of the A string of the 5th string. Then 3rd finger plays the 9th fret of the G string, 3rd string. Then 1st finger on the 8th fret of the B, 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the B. And now, so now this is my 1st finger on the 8th fret of the A, and my 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the B, and I'm gonna bend this B string note while I don't bend this. So I get, right? Now my 3rd finger is gonna slide up here and bar the 12th fret of the B and the E. I apologize, by the way, it's confusing. I like to do it this way, like in relation to the capo, but I know it's hard, right? Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's not the 12th fret, that's the 12th fret, but this is the 14th fret is now the 12th fret because of the capo. Anyway, and then you just play B, E, B, thumb, index, thumb. So, okay, now thumb is gonna pick the 4th string, the D string, and I'm gonna go. 1st finger's on the 10th fret of the high E string, 3rd finger's on the 12th fret of the B string. And I'm gonna pluck the D string and the E string together, and then I'm gonna go E, B, E, B. And then I slide it down to play the 10th fret on the B, and then my 2nd finger comes in and plays the 9th fret on the E. So play the D and the E together. My My first finger's here on the 10th fret of the E, my third finger's here on the 12th fret of the B. I go between those a couple of times. Now I slide the third finger down to the 10th fret on the B, play the B string with the index, second finger plays the 9th fret of the high E string. And now I slide down. This is a really fast change. I don't even know how he does that. To get into this chord, which we've played this before, it's the first finger on the 5th fret of the high E, the second finger on the 6th fret of the A. So, play that. This is this old style where my thumb is playing the A and the index is playing the high E and kind of swiping back and grabbing the B. And then he does this. First finger gets the 5th fret on the B and then slides down to the 3rd fret. And now it's just like the end of the chorus. And then it goes back into this, which leads into the third verse and then the third chorus. And then it does this again at the end, and it actually ends with a chord that isn't in the song otherwise, which is this one. Second finger on the 8th fret of the B, third finger on the 9th fret of the high E, first string. Strum everything with that. Okay, so like I said, full tablature available at my Patreon. I really hope that you're able to get that some way that you like to play it. It's an amazing, beautiful song, and I hope you have fun with it in any case. And as usual, let me know any questions or comments or requests or suggestions or complaints or salutations. And I hope you have a very lovely day or night.